I mean, how do you feel like newspapers and the local news industry is still able to be here in 2021?
Yeah, wow, that's a long question.
Yeah.
Because, news is, to me, a little bit different than the newspaper, right? I think if we're going to be honest and say, hey, is a newspaper going to be here in 20 years? I don't know the answer to that. You know, maybe something changes, but, if you look at kind of the demographics, possibly not. But our paper has been around since 1864, right? So we've been around for, 100 and going on 157 years, right? That kind of means something. So when I think of us, I don't think of us as just a newspaper. I think of us as a news organization.
Yeah.
Right. So our website, we have more traffic than ever on our website. We do have fewer subscribers. However, the subscribers that we have are our best, most loyal readers. So even just the subscribers that have remained, it's really concentrated in people that care deeply, deeply about the community. And I think that, to me, is what local newspapers are about, is telling the story of your community and kind of making sure that continues, regardless if it's on a piece of paper or it's on a screen or it's on your cell phone or it's in your email box. That doesn't matter as long as people are connecting with their local news source. So we're still here. In some ways, we're doing pretty well. In other ways, I think, it's a challenge.
The Times and the Washington Post they're going to be left-leaning, and there's some others, like the Union Leader is known for being kind of right-leaning. How does the Monitor play when it comes to that ecosystem going on? Yeah,
so, the Union Leader is known as being right-leaning. The Monitor is known as being left-leaning. And I think what that really means was what's the stances of the editorial pages.
Exactly.
Right. And that's where, the editorial departments would write editorials and that would happen every day. That world has changed. I would suggest people read the Monitor news section, read the Union Leader news section, and you may not be able to, minus the bylines, you may not be able to tell which story is coming from which paper. Because I think they do a pretty good job in their news section of playing it straight. And I know we try very hard to play it straight in our news section. Opinion, our opinion sections is we no longer write editorials, or we very seldom write editorials. We did ahead of the presidential election, and took a pretty strong stance on that. But for the most part, we've stayed away from editorials because editorials have always existed generally as a different department of a newsroom. I worked at a newspaper in California where, the editorial department was on a different floor. You never saw them, right? So they were taking
what you want when
they were taking editorial stances, and oftentimes off of what we were reporting downstairs. Here at the Monitor, we got too small to be able to support that approach anymore. Where our
you got to pay salary still.
Our opinion editor would be working on news, and you can't ask someone to switch hats. I'm writing an opinion right now on something that I'm editing for news. So that became pretty uncomfortable for me. And that's when I said, you know what, we don't need to be writing editorials right now. I think people get a lot of opinions. Right? Opinions are not hard to find. And our mission is not to give people opinions. Our mission is to give people facts so they can form their own opinions.
I feel like your opinion section has, at least on the web, has kind of a different angle than what I've found with others, where you're getting a lot more experts to come in to give their opinion on different topics, letters into the editor, things like that. What led you to, is it just, how much editorial are you giving to what's ending up in that spot?
We don't allow certain types of content to come in. So if it's personally attacking somebody or it's just has a threshold that's, just that we don't want to go there in terms of its approach. But for the most part, if you write a letter to the editor and it passes our bar in terms of its civility, we're going to run it, right? I think, what we publish in our news section, I find to be incredibly important. I also find our opinion section to be incredibly important. We provide a forum to the community to have discussions amongst themselves, and we moderate it through print.
There's even replies, which is hilarious.
There's replies. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's one of the things that newspapers do that no one else does. And this is not your message board, on Facebook, where someone can anonymously write whatever they want and be hidden from who they are. Everyone has to name themselves, and stand up for what they're saying. And just that fact makes people a whole lot more civil when they know their name is attached to something. So we moderate that, but we solicit some opinions, but for the most part, if someone has something to say, they can write it in, and we'll try to find a way to get it in if we find that has value in terms of the public discourse.